comfortable conditions today, but I'll show you why temperatures will climb well above normal by tomorrow.
Reducing violent crime. Raleigh Police Chief Rico Boyce addresses the recent violent incidents in the city. What he wants the public to know about the efforts to keep the city safe. Back in session. State lawmakers are back for a short time and are expected to discuss the long-awaited budget, the issues they plan to discuss, and how they could affect you.
Another cool afternoon in our forecast, but temperatures warm quickly starting tomorrow. Hello, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levinga. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and the WRAL Severe Weather Center with today's temperature turnaround. And Elizabeth, we started cooler this morning, and now people can prepare for, as you said on WRAL.com, wall-to-wall sunshine.
That's right. Look at this. This is a live look at Anger, and you can see how pretty it looks there. We can take a look at satellite and radar right now. You can see the high pressure system. That is helping to push some drier air into our region. That high is helping to keep things dry for us. We started with our temperatures in the mid to upper 30s and low 40s in some places this morning, and our high temperature this afternoon will only climb into the upper 60s to around 70. That high will move away, and we're looking at a southwesterly flow that'll help to warm things up. Starting tomorrow, our highs are back into the 80s, and we'll take a closer look at that coming up.
All right. Thank you for that, Elizabeth. Well, this morning, Raleigh's police chief took time to make it clear. Raleigh is a safe place to live. Chief Rico Boyce gave that message this morning after a recent series of high-profile violent crimes in Raleigh. And WRAL's Sean Gallagher listened to the chief's message on this. We'll bring him in right now. So, Sean, it's important to note this message was made after shootings at Triangle Town Center, a shooting at a supermarket parking lot, and murders within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. A number of high-profile violent events that we have reported on, but it's public safety partnerships that Rico Boyce is leaning on to try to project this message of safety. He says that despite what we've seen in recent weeks with that violent crime, that the city is a safe place, and it's something that I'm told will be reflected in the Q1 stats that we should see coming out very soon. But today, Boyce was flanked by more than a dozen leaders of various public safety sectors from a local, state, and federal level. That includes the Wake County District Attorney's Office, all the way up to U.S. Attorney Ellis Boyle. Boyce's message was threefold. They're addressing gun violence at the source, confiscating nearly 500 illegal guns already this year, and strengthening security measures downtown and in nightlife settings, and boosting community engagement and prevention. But my question for the leader of the department is how this strategy will restore the faith in community safety after this string of violent crimes.
And what my partners are doing here today and every day is we're making sure that we give every case the attention that it deserves from our public safety partners, as well as that we can quickly hold those offenders accountable.
And when it comes to accountability, I raised the question to Rico Boyce about why we haven't seen anybody taken into custody related to the Triangle Town Center shooting that happened 4 days ago. Chief Rico Boyce telling me we will be seeing someone in custody real soon. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Lawmakers are back in Raleigh today for the start of the short legislative session. WRAL state government reporter Caroline Yaffa is at the legislature right now to tell us what lawmakers and the governor are saying are the top priorities for the session. Caroline.
Lawmakers are set to gavel in just about a few minutes in both the Senate and in the House chamber behind me. And earlier today, we were at a press conference where Governor Stein released his spending wish list. Now, Republican lawmakers are at an impasse over tax rates and Medicaid. That has led to a stalemate over a broader spending plan for North Carolina. Democratic Governor Josh Stein said today he laid out his hopes for spending. He wants lawmakers to have more money in the budget for Medicaid, disaster recovery, and education initiatives.
Budgets require choices. And with the choice between investing in our children's education and the health of our kids versus giving money to corporate shareholders.
And today I asked Governor Stein about this, and I asked him some questions about whether he's having discussions with Senate Leader Phil Berger and Speaker Destin Hall. He says he's hopeful they'll come to an agreement soon. And I asked Speaker Destin Hall previously if he wants this to be a thing to pass a new budget. He says it's a top priority for the House, and Senate Leader Phil Berger says he's open to discussions about passing a new budget. Caroline Yaffa, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
You all up to date throughout the day and the entire short session on WRAL.com and here on WRAL.
Today, Durham Mayor Leo Williams will deliver his State of the City address, and the mayor is expected to talk about his priorities for the city and what's ahead for the next year. That event will be at the Durham Performing Arts Center this year, and the doors open at 5 p.m. with registration available online. Just a reminder, you can also watch this event live on WRAL.com at 6 o'clock.
New at noon, downtown Raleigh is about to feature a new Omni Hotel that Raleigh leaders believe could attract big conventions and other events. Hotel and city leaders unveiled the plan for the area this morning. WRAL's Ken Smith joins us now. And Ken, this will be like the centerpiece of an economic and entertainment hub.
You know, Renee, it absolutely will be. This will change the Raleigh skyline and could help attract tourists and big business to the city. Yeah, it was quite a festive atmosphere this morning. You saw the Shaw University Marching Band there capping off a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the nearby reimagined Lichton Plaza. The hotel will be located on South Street, 600 rooms, and is set to open in 2028. It comes as expansion projects at the nearby Convention Center and Red Hat Amphitheater also underway. City leaders are hoping the added space brings more visitors, larger conventions, and bigger names to the area.
This hotel creates a seamless connection to our entire complex, giving our visitors the opportunity to experience the arts, culture, and entertainment just footsteps away.
Well, again, that hotel is set to open in 2028. Now, as for the Lichton Plaza at the Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts, the improvements include a dedicated drop-off lane, added wheelchair accessibility ramps, and enhanced green space as we get ready to celebrate Earth Day.
Well, although President Donald Trump says a ceasefire extension between the U.S. and Iran is unlikely, Pakistan is still preparing to mediate peace talks between those two countries. Kira Simmons with NBC News explains what could be a turning point in negotiations and what happens if the current ceasefire actually ends tomorrow.
Well, the ceasefire expires technically tomorrow, according to President Trump, and there are no negotiators from either side here in Islamabad at this point. It is just a short flight here from Tehran, but Iran's foreign minister says their team has not left. Vice President Vance is expected to be here. President Trump at the same time, while suggesting that they should negotiate, also threatening Iran, saying that they will, if they don't negotiate, have problems like they've never seen before. On the other hand, the person who led Iran's negotiations last time, the Speaker of their Parliament, Mohammad Ghalibaf, he has said in a statement that they will not negotiate under threats and that they have been preparing new cards, he says, that's his words, on the battlefield. So both threats and the two sides seeming to talk about talking. Now, when these negotiations do start, already the Pakistanis have this city locked down with armed security, with extra police and whole highways and freeways closed off. But that doesn't mean it is going to happen after more of that tension in the Strait of Hormuz last weekend. China's leader, President Xi, saying in a statement that may be an important diplomatic intervention after a phone call with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, that the Strait of Hormuz should be allowed to maintain normal navigation.
And that was Kira Simmons reporting. And we've been keeping a close watch on the war's effect on gas prices. For example, our state is seeing a downward trend. Today's average in Raleigh, $3.78, and in Durham and in Chapel Hill, in fact, $3.90, which is down a penny compared to last week. And then you have Fayetteville at $3.63.
A funeral is planned for a 15-year-old who was hit and killed by a suspected drunk driver in Durham over the weekend. 15-year-old Jack O'Shea is set to be buried this week. Durham police say O'Shea was riding his e-bike on Coal Mill Road when Joseph Savarino hit him. Savarino also told officers he was drinking. He is charged with DWI and has had his license revoked. Severino is the grandson of former Duke basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski. We've reached out to the city of Durham about the rules surrounding e-bikes, and so far we have not heard back. The town of Holly Springs could crack down on e-bikes and e-scooters. Town council is planning to discuss this during their meeting tonight. They will talk about more restrictions that they want to put in place because of the increase in calls about e-bike riders performing stunts and impeding traffic. This comes about a month after a group of e-bikers took over a street in Wake Forest. Tonight's meeting is at 7 p.m.
After a late night at Lenovo Center, the Canes are one step closer to moving on into the Stanley Cup playoffs. After nearly 34 minutes of overtime, Jordan Martinook scored to give the Canes a 3-2 win over the Ottawa Senators. And with that double OT win, the Canes now have a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. After the game, Canes captain Jordan Staal talked about just how close this series is.
It's game 2. Both teams are grinding and playing great hockey, and Stanley Cup's playoffs is always tight.
Lock in, Mr. Staal. The series now shift over to Ottawa for Game 3 on Thursday night, and puck drop will be at 7:30.
More possible budget cuts. How new proposed cuts could affect the ones the Wake County Public School Superintendent already suggested.
Plus, reshaping Virginia voting. The choice voters will have to make during a special election there today, and how that could shake up power in Congress.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center. We have an update now on that shooting that took place in Winston-Salem yesterday. The police department with a video update here on Facebook. The police chief says that the adults who stood by watching the fight that took place at that park near a school will be charged. They say there will be charges for the adults who stood by during this fight. He says we will be charging those adults. Although they're young adults, they are still adults, and we're sending the message that if you stand by and encourage or aid our juveniles and delinquent behavior, we will not tolerate it in our community. Here's some video again from that scene from yesterday as investigators were there. Again, we know this happened at a park near a school, prompting some schools to go on to a brief lockdown there. The Winston-Salem Police Department also said that they are not seeking or looking for any other people involved in this, no longer looking for any suspects in this. We know a 16 and a 17-year-old died. The other victims' ages are between 14 and 19 years old.
Laura, thank you. On the life of his mother in an address to the nation, marking what would have been the late Queen Elizabeth's 100th birthday. Danielle Hamamdajan reports from London.
Well, the UK will be remembering Her late Majesty in so many ways today, but of course leading the commemorations is her son, King Charles, with a video address to the nation where he delivers a personal message honoring his mother's sense of duty. Through nearly a century of change, he said she remained constant, steadfast, and wholly devoted to the people she served. The king, of course, is getting ready for his state visit to the United States next week, but he said the late Queen would have been concerned by events in today's world, saying much about the times we live in, he suspects, would have troubled her. Now, her presence, even years after her death, is still being felt across generations, and tributes are pouring in online, projects are in the works, a new garden in her name, a new charity, even a new statue here at Buckingham Palace, the headquarters of the royal family. But Charles not only praising his mother's sense of duty in that video, but remembering her sense of humor, and what he says is the twinkle of the eye when sharing a marmalade sandwich with Paddington Bear, a moment very few here will ever forget, a touching moment that lives on along with her legacy. Now, a poll was done here last week showing that 81% of people still have a positive opinion of Her late Majesty. That's more than any other living member of the royal family.
And that was Danielle Hamamdajan reporting. The Queen led a long life, 96 years. Happening today, Virginia voters will decide on a new congressional map that could dramatically reshape the state ahead of the midterms. The new proposal could flip 4 Republican-held seats in Congress, giving Democrats an advantage in 10 of the 11 districts. Supporters say it is needed to counter the Republican-led efforts to change maps in states like Texas. Critics say the map abandons nonpartisan redistricting principles.
The Body Island Lighthouse will open for climbing tomorrow, and there will be limited hours for the first few weeks. In mid-May, they will expand to 7 days a week, so keep that in mind. So this morning, one thing I like to do to try to measure just how cold it's been. Yeah, you can look at the numbers, Elizabeth, but how thick is the coat that I'm wearing? Right. Wasn't too thick today, but still not light either.
Yeah. Well, when we come in, it's actually warmer. So temperatures were in the 40s when we came in this morning, and then they drop all the way down to, by 7 o'clock, as cold as they're going to get. And this is what some of our lows were. Siler City was the coldest at 31, Warrenton at 34, Clayton 35, Chapel Hill 36, as well as Creedmoor and Raleigh was 38. So it was chilly out there. I came in my sort of small puffy coat, not really thick, but yeah, it was fine. I think we still aren't quite accustomed to, that summer heat yet. We're going to see it again, though, starting tomorrow through the end of the week. It's pretty at Fenton and Cary this afternoon, feeling comfortably cool. It's only 57 degrees right now. Our wind's fairly light, variable at about 3 to 5 miles per hour. We're going to climb to about 70 this afternoon, which was our high yesterday. 58 in Cary, 60 in Clayton and Fuquay-Varina, 58 in Wake Forest, and 60 in Chapel Hill. So those temperatures are coming on up. Our next weather maker that is keeping us dry and cool is this high pressure system. High pressure systems rotate clockwise, so this high is pulling that cool air in. But as it slides eastward, the wind will reverse and help to warm things up for us. This is the way that looks. Of course, we're cool today, signified in blue. This is where we're cooler than normal, and this is where we're warmer than normal in the reds and yellows. So it makes pretty good sense. So down to our south right now, we're going to see this high sliding farther to the east, rotating clockwise and beginning to pull some of that warmth into the Mississippi Valley and up into our area. But we won't really feel that big warm up until tomorrow, and it'll keep building all the way into the weekend. So 69 for today in Raleigh, 68 in Durham, and 72 in Fayetteville. And of course, we continue to have a statewide burn ban until further notice. We've had this for a couple of weeks now, and it's likely to be several more weeks. As a matter of fact, honestly, it could be several more months. Our midweek warm-up really kicks in tomorrow. Our normal high is 74, so we're a little below that today. Then 83 Wednesday, and then we're looking at mid to upper 80s through Friday and Saturday. Our muggy meter starts to go up. No, we've had some little mini heat waves so far this spring, and the humidity has stayed either refreshing or comfy, so it's been a little easier to take. So we'll be at tolerable. We're not at steamy or tropical yet, but I hate to see it even creeping in that direction. But it's coming. We will see clear skies tonight and pleasant temperatures in the 40s, so it'll be nice to get out and check out the Lyrid meteor shower. It peaks around 10 o'clock or after this evening, and you'll see about 10 meteors per hour. And if you're not a meteor shower fan, that's actually a fairly light shower. That means we won't see that many meteors, and you really will need to get out to a very dark sky, very far away from town, really, to be able to see them. Also, more fun things coming up. We are proud sponsors of the Komen Race for the Cure, and Mike Mays and Laura Levine will be the MCs this year. Temperatures look great, mid-60s at the 9 a.m. start, and then by 11 o'clock, 71 degrees. It's going to be nice and dry for us on Saturday. Of course, there's that Race for the Cure logo. Now, we do have a front that comes through Saturday night. That will cool off our temperatures for Sunday to very nice at 75, but should also bring us our best chance of rain in the next 7 days. I'll show you how much we could see coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Coming up on our news this afternoon, overcrowded jail. The Wake County Sheriff's Office has had to move inmates because it was so many people in custody. Today at 4, an unintended consequence of a new state law.
Plus, answers for vendors abruptly abandoned. Business owners were stunned when Painted Trees suddenly closed, which is why tonight at 5, you will hear what the company is saying about next steps for vendors with an uncertain future.
Price check. Owning a car may be getting out of reach for more people. Next at noon, 5 on your side breaks down what's driving up the cost.
Plus, Amazon's AI acceleration, what the company's massive investment in the technology could reshape it, and what this means.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it. How much is too much to pay for your car? 5 on your side's Alex Littlehales explores the question, are average Americans being priced out of a basic commodity?
Car prices keep going up. Here's what the numbers say. According to Edmunds, a national auto research firm, average monthly payments for new cars have hit an all-time high. The new average monthly payment is up to $773 for the beginning of 2026. Consumer Reports' Keith Barry says the data is a bit skewed, though.
It's just that there are so many more expensive, fully loaded, larger, big luxury vehicles that it is sort of distorting that number a little bit.
With bigger luxury cars dragging the average numbers behind them.
You know, the prices have crept up on the more popular cars over the years, but the average price has leapt because of those changes at the high end of the market.
But it's not just new cars seeing this jump too. Tonight, the factors for why used car prices are jumping too and how you can navigate those changes. Alex Littlehales, 5 on your side.
Amazon is making a major new push into AI with a multi-billion-dollar investment in Anthropic. The company says it could invest up to $25 billion as part of a long-term infrastructure deal. And that deal will boost computing power to train and run Anthropic's AI system, Claude. Amazon says the move helps meet the growing global demand for AI tools.
Apple CEO Tim Cook is stepping down after more than a decade leading the company. He helped grow Apple into a $4 trillion giant after taking over for Steve Jobs in 2011. John Turnus will take over as CEO in September. Cook will move into the role of executive chairman of Apple's board of directors.
FBI Director Kash Patel is suing The Atlantic. Patel filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit against the magazine and one of its writers. And that suit claims a recent article was malicious and inaccurate. The Atlantic article cited unnamed sources concerned about Patel's drinking and behavior.
More cuts coming. Wake County schools could be facing even deeper reductions, and it's only part of a much bigger budget picture. What's being proposed and what it could mean for students and staff.
Plus, water concerns. A state plan to address forever chemicals is getting pushback. Why critics are sounding the alarm on this.
And here's a look at your winning North Carolina education lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Well, today we are expecting more cuts to be proposed for Wake County Public Schools.
This comes after the superintendent already suggested more than $5 million in cuts. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how these proposed cuts are just a small portion of the overall school budget.
These proposed changes only account for a small fraction of the budget. So today, we're going to be focusing on adding more context to our months of reporting on Wake School's budget. The district's total budget is over $2 billion. Superintendent Robert Taylor has proposed $5.2 million in cuts. This would affect areas like transportation and elementary literacy coaches, not the day-to-day classroom experience. Superintendent Taylor is expected to propose more cuts later today. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst explains how those cuts affect the big picture of the budget.
$5 million is less than 1% of the district's overall budget. You know, over $10 million in cuts previously proposed. If we hit that $10 million mark again, we still will be under less than 1% of that budget.
The superintendent is scheduled to give his new budget proposal today at 1 o'clock.
Well, there was a heated hearing in Raleigh last night over forever chemicals in North Carolina's drinking water. State regulators are considering a plan that would require companies to monitor pollution and reduce it. But critics say that it doesn't go far enough because it sets no limits and no penalties. Speaker after speaker criticized that proposal. They say that it would allow companies to police their own pollution while leaving communities with the cost of cleanup. Elevated levels of these chemicals have been found in drinking water systems across the state, and exposure has been linked to cancer and other health problems. One doctor became emotional as he described the risks tied to long-term exposure and pleaded for stronger protections.
I've seen people die from kidneys of the cancer, from cancers of the kidney, testicle, fertility problems, it just keeps going on. So it's time to put some teeth into these regulations and hold polluters accountable and do what's right for my patients. Sorry.
The Environmental Management Commission acknowledged industry input in crafting the plan and called it a first step to reducing discharges. Another public hearing is scheduled for Thursday, and that'll be in Wilmington. Written comments will be accepted through June 15th.
The Vance County Board of Commissioners have approved a rezoning application for a possible data center. The vote was 6-1. It was in front of a packed house last night. The application was submitted by Natelli Holdings, the same company that tried to rezone land for a data center in Apex. Commissioners were met with backlash from residents.
We are had enough, and y'all talking about putting another one up in this town? Ma'am, please leave. I'm leaving, I'm waiting. I'm leaving.
The vote doesn't mean a data center is coming. These changes mean the rules for a company to make a proposal for a new data center changes. Now, earlier this month, a lot of people criticized the idea of bringing the data center to their community. County commissioners delayed their decision on it. We have done a lot of reporting on data centers in recent weeks. You can learn more about the way they could reshape the energy grid, the concerns about higher costs, and the potential impacts on the environment. It is all on the WRAL YouTube page.
A Four Oaks police officer is now a person of interest in a decades-old murder case. Let me walk you through this. 16-year-old Josh Davis was killed on a Garner Road back in 2004. Investigators initially believed that a car hit Davis. Well, his death is now being investigated as a homicide. The FBI and Garner police are looking into both the case and the Four Oaks police officer of interest. WRAL isn't sharing that officer's name, though, pending official confirmation.
Okay, happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, a very unexpected guest in one Durham neighborhood. Let me show you here the NC Wildlife Commission sharing this video from last week of a bear spotted in a Durham neighborhood. You can see him right there passing through here. This video was taken in a community adjacent to Sandy Creek Park, which with frequently used trails connecting the neighborhood to the park. Another nearby resident mentioned seeing a bear scat in the woods the day that this video was taken. So right now, the NC Wildlife says that this is the time of year when bears are moving through all parts of North Carolina. And this year, for the first time ever, state officials are encouraging people in Raleigh and Durham to learn how to live with bears. Also encouraging its Bear Wise program. This is an awareness program that they are now expanding here to our area. Experts say that there is no need for alarm and that there are some precautions that you should consider. But of course, if you see something like this in your neighborhood, be sure to reach out to the NC Wildlife Commission.
Laura, thank you. More changes in President Trump's cabinet. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer is stepping down. Chavez-DeRemer is taking a job in the private sector. The former secretary had a rocky tenure. She faced an internal investigation after individuals complained about her conduct, and two of her top aides resigned. Keith Sunderling will serve as acting secretary until a permanent replacement is approved.
Your time is 12:34. Signing day for future high school students. The career path they're celebrating in the way that famous athletes do.
Soccer sisterhood. How local rival teams showed their support after a player finished her last chemo treatment. You can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Middle school students in Durham are getting a jump start to their future career in healthcare. So what you're seeing right here, Duke Health hosted a signing day celebration just like athletes get. It's a partnership between Duke Health, Durham Tech, and Durham Public Schools to prepare students for careers in healthcare. Families cheered on these 8th graders as they signed their commitment to attend the Durham Early College of Health Sciences.
I've always just seen whatever's in front of me, take it.
your future is really about what you want to do. You control it. And I think that this would be a great opportunity for me to actually try and find the things that I want to do and actually go for it.
Then you actually go for it. And more than 100 students have accepted a spot in the incoming class. And when they graduate, they will have a pathway to jobs at Duke Health. That's pretty cool, Renee.
Love that. Their future is so bright. Rivals in Apex came together to support one of their own. Apex High School senior Madeline Schneider returned to the field last night after undergoing her final chemotherapy treatment. The 18-year-old was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma back in October. The school teamed up with rival Apex Friendship to wear purple for Duke Children's Hospital, where Madeline was treated.
I never thought I would be excited to say, like, I want to go back to school. Like, I never thought I would say that. But I'm really excited to finish I still get like a month and a few weeks of school left and a few games left on soccer. So I'm excited. I thought I played my last soccer game like a few months ago.
Back to her life and back to normalcy. Happening today, WRAL health reporter Grace Haba sits down with Madeline to share what she hopes life after treatment will look like.
Right. Next giant step, a key piece of an Artemis 3 mission that will shape the future of space travel. It's on the move. Why this moment matters for the journey ahead.
Plus, caught on camera, a rare weather moment is going viral across North Carolina. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains what caused it and why you may see more of it.
Durham Public Schools will not have school on Friday, May 1st. This will be an optional teacher workday. It's planned as teachers and advocates prepare to rally downtown for better pay, and students won't have to make up that day.
New constraints went into place yesterday for all Raleigh water customers. Goldsboro and Rocky Mount also now have water restrictions in place. In both cities, the restrictions are voluntary for now. They recommend shorter showers, running fewer dishwasher loads, and limiting outdoor watering. You can find all the specifics on what towns and cities are facing on WRAL.com. Just search water.
The town of Zebulon is counting down the days until their Spring Fest, and this is happening on Saturday from 4 until 8 p.m. in downtown Zebulon. Basically, the town will shut down the street to make room for family, for fun, arts, crafts, music, and food for the community. And in honor of Earth Day tomorrow, Raleigh residents with a green thumb can score free biodegradable yard bags, these waste bags plus a popsicle. From 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., you can visit the Wilders Grove Solid Waste Service Facility, and you can pick up 5 of the waste bags to help your yard. That's on Beacon Lake Drive, if you're familiar. You can register online at RaleighNCFirst.gov.
Video of a dust devil this past weekend is being shared all over social media, and WRAL shared that video over the weekend. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us the wild scene that unfolded and why more of these may happen moving forward.
Yeah, this video, each time you see it, it just gets wilder and wilder, and you notice something different each time you watch it. But this was Saturday afternoon in Wake Forest at a youth baseball game. You see how it definitely disrupted the game, and even after it blew past these folks, it went into the other field and sustained itself. Now, thankfully, these folks holding on to the tent were not injured, but just some wild video there. Expecting potential for that later this week, and it's because of the unseasonable heat that we see. Once you heat the surface, low pressure forms, air rises, and air tends to go toward the center of low pressure. So as it does so, it rushes in and it spins, and it creates that dust devil that you oftentimes see on Little League fields, especially on the infield there. This one really sustained itself, but a lot of times some cooler air or a tree line will help to kill it off. That's why you oftentimes see these things in the desert or in the Midwest, where the land is very flat. But as we go through the rest of the week, we do expect a return to above average temperatures. So there's at least the possibility, with the lack of rain, that we see some very isolated dust devils from Wednesday through Friday.
And so now you know the science behind dust devils, but I have never seen one. Elizabeth, you say you have.
We've got to get you out to see a dust devil.
Yeah, I guess so.
You might have seen some on your big spring break trip, if they, happen to
out in
to
Utah.
be out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
Utah.
right. It was calm when we were there. Yeah,
on the plains when it gets warm, they really spin up. So they have a ton of them there. We don't see them very often around here, but it has been dry and warm. So maybe you'll get to see one here, which is unusual.
We'd love to see some rain, but I know that's wishful thinking for a little while.
It is. So we'll take a live look at Raleigh. Here you can see people out on the playground. This is Dix Park, our Dix Park camera, the Gibson Play Plaza, which is phenomenal if you've never been there. Oh my goodness. Even if you're not a kid, it is such a great spot. You can run around and look for the trolls and then come and check out this amazing playground. They have, I know that you're going to be like, what? That is weird. But they have like the most incredible bathrooms that are public that you've ever seen. Renee's laughing at me, but it's true. 57 is our current temperature, so it's still on the cool side right now. This high pressure system is going to change all of that. It's going to move off to the east and switch our winds to southerly. It won't be as cold overnight tonight, looking at temperatures in the 40s instead of 30s, and then into the 80s instead of right around 70, which is what we'll see this afternoon. The next chance for any real rain comes on Saturday night. We'll have a front that comes through. It will weaken as it crosses the mountains, so we should see some scattered showers on Saturday night. And if you do have outdoor plans on Saturday night, those could be affected. We have one that arrives first. This is going to be what we call a backdoor front. If it comes from the north, we call it a backdoor front. Typically, we see storm systems coming from the west or northwest. So it comes from slightly the other direction. This is 11 p.m. on Wednesday, a very small chance of a sprinkle, but that one's probably going to dry out. Then we can take a look at this one as it crosses the country. It looks good, plenty of rain across parts of the Midwest and across the Mississippi Valley as it heads our way. But just like most of these systems, once it crosses the mountains, it loses a lot of its moisture and energy. So some light rain possibly starting around 4 or 5 o'clock near the Virginia line. And as we get into the evening, it sinks farther south. There's 8 p.m. Saturday, there's midnight Saturday night, and there's 2 a.m. on Sunday. It looks like the rain will be over right around sunrise on Sunday. We're hoping that we can get a good soaking out of this. We shall see. We're giving it a 40% chance right now on Saturday night. If you do have outdoor plans on Saturday night, if you're going to an outdoor concert or you're planning to eat dinner outside on Saturday, you could be affected by that rain anytime after 5 o'clock. Right now, expecting 1/4 inch of rain, but we need 10 to 11 inches in a month's time to get out of our drought. And so we just continue to have so little rainfall, and we need so much more. As a matter of fact, here's some more of the bad news. Our current stretch of days at RDU of no rain is at 16. The last time we had a 16-day dry stretch was in 2024, back in August. So just about a year and a half ago. Remember, we have the burn ban that's in effect statewide until further notice. It was issued about 2 weeks ago, and it's likely to be with us, probably through most of the summer. It warms up considerably for Friday and Saturday. High temperatures will be in the 80s. Overnight lows are in the 60s. We talked about this before, but we have the Komen Race for the Cure. It's actually the DBAP this year, and it looks like the weather's going to be perfect for that. It doesn't rain until Saturday night. Sunday should be really nice. We'll see 75 degrees, and it looks dry, of course.
Of course. Elizabeth, thank you. Up next, second chance.
One Bulldog's journey is winning hearts and turning heads. How her unlikely path led to a big moment in the spotlight. And we do have a look at your winning Powerball numbers right here on your screen. 9, 17, 36, 47, 64. The Powerball is 26, and the Power Play multiplier, 3.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. This morning, Raleigh's police chief addressed safety after a series of high-profile violent crimes in the city. Chief Rico Boyce made it clear Raleigh is a safe place to live. This comes just days after shootings at Triangle Town Center, another in a grocery store parking lot, and murders in the last 2 weeks. The newest crime data is expected to be released soon. We will bring you updates as we learn more.
Lawmakers are back in Raleigh today for the start of the short legislative session. Republican lawmakers are at an impasse over tax rates and Medicaid. That has led to a stalemate over a broader spending plan for our state. Today, Democratic Governor Josh Stein laid out his hopes for spending, and he wants lawmakers to have more money. He wants lawmakers more money for Medicaid, disaster recovery, and education initiatives. Stein tells us that he is hopeful there will be an agreement soon.
Downtown Raleigh is getting a new Omni Hotel that Raleigh leaders believe could attract big conventions and other events. Hotel and city leaders revealed plans for the area this morning. This will change the Raleigh skyline and could help attract tourists and big business to Raleigh. A ribbon cutting was held for the nearby reimagined Lichton Plaza. The hotel will be located on South Street. It will have 600 rooms and is set to open in late 2028.
Preparations are happening for the Artemis 3 mission. We already finished 2, right? Well, NASA employees looked on as crews in New Orleans and rolled out this major part of the rocket that will send the next crew into space. The 185-foot space launch system will now head to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The Artemis 3 mission will take place in the middle of next year and expected to be the last mission before NASA sends astronauts back to the moon in 2028.
In NBA playoffs doubleheader tonight on NBC, the Portland Trail Blazers will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs. That game starts at 8 p.m. The Houston Rockets will be playing the LA Lakers at 10:30, and you can watch both of these games right here on WRAL. A sweet moment between some well-known people at the Boston Marathon yesterday. Chelsea Clinton competed in the famous road race and was met after crossing the finish line by her parents, former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The family celebrated the impressive achievement, and they also greeted some fans as they made their way out of the finish line area.
A rescued English bulldog with a difficult start is now getting her moment in the spotlight. Flora took the crown at the 47th annual Beautiful Bulldog Contest at Drake University, and this was on Sunday. She won over judges' hearts and a packed crowd, too. She beat out dozens of other bulldogs in the competition, which celebrates personality as much as appearance. But her owners say that the 7-year-old pup's journey to the stage has not been easy.
She was a breeder's surrender from a puppy mill. Never seen grass for the stairs before. So getting to know that for her was an experience.
That's great, and so is the crown, right? Flora will now serve a week-long reign as the official mascot for the upcoming Drake relays. That is a precious dog.
Such a touching backstory, and let me tell you, she makes sagging jowls look so cute. That's a really cute face.
I'm sure she gives slobbery kisses.
Well, we thank you so much for spending this lunch hour with us. It's a beautiful day outside with lots of sunshine, although cooler than normal. But don't you worry, we are in for a big, significant warm-up starting tomorrow. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can always get breaking news updates anytime with the WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today. Enjoy that wall-to-wall sunshine.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1250.